Yes. Yes. Look at that. We've already got somebody coming. I have no idea who this is, but before the podcast even started, somebody's already in the comments. What's going on, baby? Dude, I love it. Dude, Ken Wilson is always my guy, dude. He's always the very first person to jump in here and comment before we go live. Dude, this is awesome. You guys make my entire freaking day. I love this. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday. TGIF, Think Growth. It's Friday, guys. Carlin, you are looking especially festive today. I love your background. Is that virtual?
No, that's a real fire, actually. See, tangible. I can touch them.
I love it. It looks fantastic.
Thanks.
Does the rest of your house look like that, or do you like decorate a corner and put the camera up in front of it?
Oh, I decorated the corner. No, my whole house is. I've got Christmas ornaments hanging across my living room. I try. With all this no snow that we have, I'm like, I gotta have some festivity here.
Gotta have something. Yeah. Well, you can have some of my snow. I'm literally staring at like 9 feet of snow right now. The snowplows have come and just shoveled piles. I mean, I got mountains of this crap in my driveway. So if anybody is missing snow, I know Chris is in Rochester, New York, and he does not have any snow right now. And he's like a Chris, dude, this guy, Chris James, is the one person who, like, I think puts my wife, like, there's some sort of rivalry there. Not relationship wise, certainly not sexually, but in Christmas wise, guys, Christmas wise, get your mind out of the gutter. There's some rivalry there, Christmas wise. And Chris James like celebrates Christmas like 4 months out of the year. Crazy. I've never seen anybody else do this. I mean, my wife, don't get me wrong, come September, like there's this rule in my house, Carlin, that as soon as the Burr months start, like October, September, November, once September hits, once the Burr months hit, then it's like Bing Crosby, we're putting up our tree, all the things, man. So Christmas is pretty heavy in our house. And then of course the tree stays up till like freaking March. So I've got a Christmas tree in my house like 6 months out of the year. Chris James has like 10 Christmas trees. He's always outdoing me.
Oh man, we give Chris a hard time because we're like, yeah, your Christmas tree looks good. Ours smells like a real tree though.
Oh, it was James Zeger. That's who it was. I found you, bro. What's going on, baby? What's going on? I see Shane Roche is here. Shane, what's up, dude? Thanks for jumping in, man. I'm gonna call you, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I'll be able to call you before our meeting, but we will talk. I'm excited to get further into some of the details and exciting things that we have going on for the new year. Trees are pretty though. Leave them up all year, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, let's go. It all started with my wife, and then Chris James comes and just completely outdoes everybody.
There's actually a company in Canada, I'm pretty sure it's Canada, where they grow the tree. And then you can rent the tree. You can rent the tree. No, this is so smart. And then after the tree's been alive for 7 years, they go plant it.
After it's been alive for 7 years, what do you mean?
Yeah, so you rent the tree for Christmas. Like it stays in, like they keep it bulbed, so they keep the roots. You rent it, put all your Christmas decorations on it, keep it alive, and then go Canada, right? And then at the end of the Christmas season, you take it back and they continue growing it. And after it's been alive for 7 years, so it's been rented 7 times, they take it out into the forest and they plant it.
Interesting. Huh.
If that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what is.
Dude, I think that's a genius idea. They can do that in Canada, though. They've got nothing. Did you know that the majority of Canadians are all like engulfed around that area of Canada that's right across the border from like New York, like on that southeastern side? Like they got all this land, and they're all like the majority, I think, of Canadians are all like engulfed around that small area, and then they've got little pockets of higher kind of populated things. But yeah, go Canada, dude. They're you know what that reminds me of? Have you seen that 70s show, Ashton Kutcher?
Oh my gosh, who hasn't?
Yeah, Jesse, I'm not a communist. Of course I've seen it.
What do you think this is?
Okay. So there's this episode when they all go to Canada, and
that one.
they're trying to keep it from red. They're trying to keep it a secret from Red because they want to go over the border to go drink. And they're like, hey, nobody talk, nobody tell Red we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything because he's gonna, put his foot in their ass. And so he says, Kelso comes in. I think it's right in front of Red too. And he's like, Canada, woohoo, beer. And then he has this big blowhorn. He's like, ha, right in front of Red's house, man. But anyway. All this Canadian talk, that's what it reminded me of. Canada, woohoo! Beer! Anyway, guys, it's going to be a good day. Today is Friday. It is my second favorite F word. For those of you guys who are new to our podcast, you'll soon find out that Friday is my second favorite F word. We have a good time here. Adults only.
Your first one's
oddly enough, but we do provide a lot of, as parents, we do provide a lot of insight for kids. Carlin and I are both parents. We have an army, as Chris likes to call it. He's not wrong. We both got 4 kids each, and we're teaching them all the things that we're doing. We're involving them. I mean, Carlin, your kids did amazing this year. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that? I mean, it's so neat. It's the most gratifying thing to be a parent and to be teaching our kids not only what we're doing and to be educating them about money, but to be educating them about mindset and about being a thought leader and a CEO and developing these skills.
So first of all, before I tell the lemonade, these are called love dollars. They just made me some love dollars. They opened a restaurant in the back of the house. So I ordered crab legs and a salad.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we talked about how we pay, how we tip, where the cents go, where the dollars go. Never a dull moment. These kids, I don't know who loves money more, me or them. But they started a lemonade stand this summer. Home squeeze or hand squeezed, original, authentic, like not that powdery crap that you get for like $2 in the gallon. Is not the gross stuff. So they had hand squeezed lemonade, and they made, I'm not even kidding you, $400 up past $400 this summer on lemonade.
And how old are your kids?
They're 7.
7. Dude, I remember when I was 15 and I had like $100. I felt like I was Donald Trump, man.
Yeah.
Your kids made $400. That's insane.
And I'm so proud of them, but it's almost infuriating sometimes because they'll be like, Mom, can we get a treat from the store? I'm like, no. They're like, okay, well, we'll just buy it ourselves then. It's like, okay, fine, buy it yourself. But
I love that.
They've got very clear goals. They're very focused for their age, and we're actually going to be doing hot chocolate here pretty soon. So,
I love that. That'll be a good time of the year.
Good hot chocolate, like crock-pot hot chocolate.
Yeah, that's my fave, dude. They're gonna get to a point, Carlin, where they're gonna be old enough to drive. And they're gonna be like, Mom, I want this car, and you're gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna buy you that car. And they're gonna be like, well, fine, we're just gonna go buy it for ourselves then.
That I fully anticipate that. So my parents gave us their camper. So they have this camper from my childhood. It's ancient. They straight up have turned that into their living space. Like, they will go out and sleep out there. They're like, Mom, we're gonna go out to our house now. I'm like, cool.
I love it.
Don't want to, have you in the room that we made decorated and, did all that stuff for anyway. Whatever. Let's go stay in your own house.
Yeah, we no longer have to abide by your rules, Mom. We have our own house.
Yeah, they've dubbed it theirs. It was like I had to have an explicit talk with my mom saying, you cannot give it to them. Okay, if you give it to them, that is free reign in their minds. Like, they have the mind of an adult, and it is horrifying.
Angel says, try bakery items along with the lemonade and or hot chocolate. My kids killed it when we did that. That's awesome.
Fun fact.
That is awesome.
They actually have a cotton candy machine.
Dude, I would be visiting your kids every day. That sounded weird. I would be a customer every single day. Not in a weird way. I just like cotton candy, Carlin. Yeah, you could literally see the light bulb. Did anybody else just see that? Did anybody else see the light bulb just happen for Carlin? Right. That's awesome.
If you didn't have your own kids, Jesse, I'd be questioning this whole conversation.
I love it. Thank you guys for being here. I'm really excited. Well, Carlin, what are we going to get into today? I think today's topic, I think, is so prudent. I think it is so beneficial. I think it is a conversation that we really, really need to have. I don't see really a whole lot of people talking about it. The one thing that I really love about our group, Carlin, if you guys, by the way, I don't know if you guys we got some people on YouTube. We got some people watching this on my personal Facebook page. Some people are watching it in this House of Cars. Some people watching it in the Growth Co. Some of you guys are in a couple other groups watching this. But if you guys are not part of our Facebook group called the Growth Co., then you need to absolutely get in there. This Facebook group brings a new conversation to the table. It fills a lot of holes, I think, that a lot of investors need answers to. From what I've seen, you have a lot of people that jump into real estate, and their very first thought is, well, I need to go learn how to talk to sellers. I need to know where I get leads from. I need to know who has the best data. Where do I skip trace these leads? What CRM is everybody using? What dialer is everybody using? How do I overcome these objections? And while these are pertinent, 100%, we have to know these things. At some point, we have to graduate from being the person that's doing these things. We got to graduate from being the person that's the hustler in our own business, the employee in our own business, and we have to graduate to becoming that CEO. And that's the beauty of our Facebook group. It brings an entirely different conversation to the real estate realm that nobody's really answering right now. And I think it's very, very needed. And so I'm really excited for today's topic because it kind of hammers down on getting a little bit of clarity and stepping out from the mundane and the day-to-day and the grind. And because it's really easy to get caught up in this hamster wheel, especially when you're calling sellers and that's like your thing every single day. That's great because consistency is key. You will make money if you do that. But I would venture a guess, not all of us is wanting to quit our W-2 or has quit our W-2 so that we can become an employee in our own business. There's the tactical side of things, and then there's the growth side of things that need to happen. You literally have to become an entirely different person that is capable of making the money and doing the types of things that you want to be doing, that you are capable of doing. If you want something you've never had before, then you've got to do something that you've never done. And as I always like to say, the only way that you can do that is with new information. Having a community of people who think differently, who perceive reality differently, who communicate differently. And that's where real growth comes in. You start thinking about something new that you've never had before, and then you go take action on it. You go, so there's these, it's not enough to just focus on the bottlenecks in your business, and it's not enough just to focus on self-development and mindset. And that's where our community, I think, does a really, really great job, Carlin, of bridging those two things together. It's not just one, and it's not just the other. If you're having these things, then you have to think differently over here. After you've elevated your mindset and your perception of reality a little bit differently and opportunity, then you can come back over here and you bridge those two things together and this happens. So is there anything that I missed, Carlin, or anything that you would like to add to what our group does and how people benefit from it?
I I think you really just hit that one out of the park, honestly. But I think I want to add on that, and it kind of connects very nicely with what we're going over today. We're talking a little bit about the productivity paradox and doing all those things and all the stuff and trying to learn this and that and, the other really goes hand in hand with being able to find and achieve something. Like when we're jumping into real estate, and I will attest to this because I've done it. Oh, batch is the best. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go buy batch. Oh, but PropStream's pretty great. Oh, okay, let's run this right now. Oh, but you know what? Do you have a CRM? Oh, you know what? I don't think I do. ClickUp. Oh, Asana. Oh, we're gonna do. It's all of the things like
Mm-hmm.
because one person said this and another person said this and another person said this, and so you're running back and forth. You're basically a third grader who's just learning how to play baseball. You have no idea where you're running.
Perfect
And
analogy.
not that I've experienced that or anything. But I think it's a key point where you're trying to learn all these things, but you're spending so much time and you're spending so much energy and effort trying to figure out all the things that you need, that you're getting absolutely nothing accomplished because you have to learn a new system. You have to learn how to use this dialer. Oh, but this dialer works different than this one, and oh, but this script says one thing and this script says another. So which script do I go off of? And it just becomes so counterproductive because you're trying to learn and learn and learn and learn and pack everything in there, that by the end of the day you've done absolutely nothing but cram your brain full of things that have successfully made that day miserable.
I completely agree with that. And I think that walks hand in hand. I'm not sure who this is, real quick. Guys, so I know from your guys' end when you comment on here, and I appreciate you commenting because it really kind of just helps this one-way communication become more of a dialogue and kind of opens it up kind of into a two-way communication. So thank you guys for commenting. If you guys have any questions, obviously, throughout this, please put them down there. We'd love to hear more about what you guys have going on and where we can help bridge that gap. But for those of you guys, again, I know on your end, you guys, when you comment, you can see your name. But on our end, all it shows up is Facebook user. And the reason is because you guys are watching this not directly on one of our pages. You're watching it into a group. And that's okay. But just right above where the video is, there's a description. And if you click that description, you scroll all the way down. It's just right above the video. There will be a link. It says, click this link to grant StreamYard access to share your name or something along those lines. Just click that. That way we can see. Haley, you know better than that. Haley.
What is
Go
it?
share
For
your
shame.
name. Shame. Anyway, it's funny that Haley brought this up though, Carlin, because I literally had this exact same conversation with a client this morning. We were talking about some of the things that he's doing right now, some of the things that he wants to be doing. And I said, well, what do you think that looks like for you? What do you think some of the next steps are? And he said, networking. I know that I need to get out there and I need to network with more people. Would you agree, Carlin, that that's probably a pretty good idea? Your network is your net worth, as they say.
Yes, on a twofold though. Networking is easily one of the most important things I've learned and taught and helped with. The double-edged sword on that is a lot of the times you're going into networking with absolutely no intention of what you're doing and why you're there. And I'm guilty of this too, where you hop on a meeting, you've been in meetings all day, back to back to back to back. You've talked to 16 people now. And at the end of the day, in those conversations, how many of them ended up with, yeah, so I'm not sure where we can be working together right now, but let's stay in touch. How many of them ended like that? Like, that is, at the end of the day, I'm walking away like, I probably wasn't as productive as I could have made it. So since then, I've actually created guidelines and outlines for each way to direct a conversation, because a lot of the times we get into it, we don't know what the other person is doing. We ask, oh, how can I help? Well, I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you can help. I have no idea what you don't even know what I'm doing.
Right.
And it becomes this little rat race almost. So back to the initial question. Networking is so important with intention, and it goes back to the productivity paradox where you gotta have a plan with what you're doing, and you can't just be jumping from one thing to another with absolutely no intention.
100%. Well said. Well said. I know so many people that are like, I need to go make 50 friends. Great. I think that's a great idea. I think everybody should have 50 friends. If you can get 50 friends, you're going to watch your business do this. But Carlin said a key word in there that literally makes all the difference. And that word was intention. Intention. And Victoria says, I've had too many of those calls. You know what, Victoria? I have too. I have wasted so much time talking to so many people thinking that I was doing the right thing, thinking that I was doing exactly what I should be doing. I'm building my network. I'm adding phone numbers to my phone book in my phone. And come to find out, after years of doing and networking that way, what ends up happening is I end up walking from hours and hours and hours and now like thousands of hours of conversations. And my business is still in the exact same state that it was before I talked to all those people. The only difference is now I've got 50 phone numbers in my phone book now. So that's what we want to avoid. I kind of attribute it, Carlin, to like going to, like, if you were to stand on the corner of Times Square and you got everybody's walking around, right? Everybody's walking around. And I mean, let's face it, it's New York, man. You got some interesting ass people walking around Times Square. Do you think if you stopped and you just talked to everybody, you networked with everybody, do you think you're going to learn some cool shit? Do you think you're going to hear some interesting stories? Absolutely. Is your business going to be any better off when you leave and you go home that day? Nope.
It's not. Away with, like, I've got new information on flamingos that I never knew.
Exactly, man. I know the shelf life of a Twinkie is 10 years. So yeah, we want to network. We want to, dude. I learned that fun fact from networking this way when I was 10, Carlin. That's what I ended up doing. I networked with anybody and I learned a bunch of random facts when I was 10. So what we want to do, we want to be intentional with what it is that we're doing. I know people that will jump on, like, they'll say, hey, I need 50 friends, and they will create a Zoom and they will send the Zoom link out and they'll get 50 people onto a Zoom. Carlin, how many people can talk at once when you're on a Zoom?
Too many.
Well, too many people do end up talking, but effectively you have maybe 2, maybe 3 people that can have a conversation at one time. Oh, so then you got 47 people that are just sitting there. And then they jump off the Zoom and they're like, man, I got phone numbers. I jumped into a Zoom with 50 people. I've got 50 friends. I did like, and it's like, dude, your business is in the same state that it was. It's literally no better off. You don't have any action plans coming out of that Zoom. Maybe other than like some very general ideas. And so that's what we want to avoid. We want to get super clear on who we're networking with and why we're networking with them and what those expectations are before we have those conversations. Carlin, you know what? I'll even take it a step further. One of my favorite things that I like to do when I'm networking with somebody new, I will go stalk their Facebook. Like I'll spend 10 minutes. 10 minutes, guys. That's it. 10 freaking minutes before I jump into a meeting with somebody, and I'll peruse their Instagram or I will peruse their Facebook. And I will find out like so many amazing things that are relevant, that are what's the word I'm looking for? Like up to date. Like I'm not bringing up things from like 3 and 4 years ago. Like I hopped into a Zoom not too long ago with somebody. I was like, hey, dude, I saw that you were speaking in San Juan in Puerto Rico. Dude, tell me more about that. And he's like, dude, you know about that? That's awesome. Thank you for asking me. Do you think that I stood out to that person? That person networks with a lot of people. How many people are taking the time to create intentional and personal connections with people? Like the smallest things make the biggest difference. It's not hard to be successful. It's not hard to build relationships. It's not hard to make money. What's hard is slowing down enough so that we can be productive, understanding what the bigger picture is and what are the smallest things that are going to make the biggest difference.
I think for me, the biggest thing is at the end of the day, I can look back and say, okay, was I busy or was I productive? Because I talked to someone this morning who's, by the way, stalked you. She just straight up, she was like, yeah, I did some research on the Growth Co. I did some research on Jesse. I know a little bit about this, this, and this. And I was like, oh, that is so nice of you. That is wonderful. Like it was, yeah, it's a weird situation when you're like, oh, you stalked me? That is so sweet. That is so thoughtful of you. Thank you for that. But at the end of the day, I can attest to that saying, you know what, that was productive. That was a productive phone call. I went into it with intention. I went into it with a purpose. I went into it knowing what I was trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And I will safely say, busy does not always equal productive. Busy rarely equals productive.
I 100% agree. There's a difference between being busy and working hard.
Yeah, it's very exhausting being busy and then at the end of the day not being productive. Like I will say it, Jesse, you've heard me say it a million times. My journal is my path to success. Because if I want to know if I was busy or productive, this baby is not going to lie to me. It's just, man, dude, I think a lot of the times we go into it thinking, you know what, I had a busy day. I talked to so many people. I did so many things. I downloaded so many different softwares and I learned so much. But you learned a little bit about this and you learned a little bit about this and a little bit about this and a little bit about that over there. It's like, okay, but what is going to be productive for you? If you learned a little bit about everything, if you talked to 20 people with absolutely no goal, was that busy or was that productive? And there's a very clear line in the sand, especially, guys, and anyone who's heard it, especially when you have a journal. That bitch will draw that line in the sand for you. And when you go back to reflect on it at the end of the day, it will not lie. You can look at it and say, man, that was not productive. That was busy, not productive.
Yep. Dude, you hit the nail on the head, Carlin. And you're the journaling queen, man. I don't know anybody that, and by the way, guys, Carlin designed a Growth Co specific journal. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not saying this just because she's here or because we're live or anything like that. It is literally the best journal I have ever seen. And so we're working on getting this thing published right now. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, talk about a productivity paradox. I mean, this journal is really going to transform, I think, how people what's the word I'm looking for? How people manage their time and how productive they are, how clear they are on setting goals, having intentions, which is obviously is going to also lead into who they're actually networking with, who they are spending time with. One of the best ones, or one of the best things I think somebody can do is finding like having clarity on what it is they're trying to do, and then having an intention with the person that they are actually going to be networking with. Seth here says, I definitely have to do some real-time assessing sometimes to make sure I'm not spinning my wheels. Seth, one of the things that Carlin and I love doing is in our journal, do that, and everybody else do this. Write this shit down. I'm gonna tell you guys some stuff, and it's gonna help you guys like assess, and you will instantly start being way more productive. Okay, write this down. if you guys don't have a journal, go get like a notepad, just something you can like take notes in, okay? And here's what I want you guys to do. Okay, up here at the top, write Monday. And then on this page, write Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday and so on and so forth. Okay, and the only thing that I want you guys to write in these pages, the only thing I want you guys to write is what you did that day. It doesn't have to be a story, it doesn't have to be a paragraph. Just document what you did. Jumped on TGIF podcast at this time for this long. Jumped on a Zoom with John. We talked about this for this amount of time. So write what you did and then how long you did it for. If somebody slides into your guys' DMs and they're like, hey guys, I've got a deal, or I've got this, or I've got that. I need to jump on a call with you. I need to blah, blah. Let's jump into a Zoom real quick. Let's talk about it. Document that. Write that down and then write how long that conversation was. If you guys are watching this and you belong to a mentorship, and those mentorships have Zooms throughout the week, when you jump into one of those Zooms, just document it and document how long it was. I want you guys to do that Monday through Saturday. It doesn't got to be this big, long, arbitrary thing. It doesn't got to be laborious at all. You're just take note of it. It's kind of like keeping track of your calories. Had broccoli today, had an egg, had blah, 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 blah. Just document it, okay? And then on Sunday, do that Monday through Saturday. On Sunday, guys, take 15, 20 minutes at the most and just go through these pages. Just flip through these pages, and I want you to add up the exact amount of time that you guys spent either on a phone call with somebody, on a Zoom, watching a podcast, whatever. I want you to account for all the time that you spent doing something that did not turn into a money-making activity.
I want to add one more thing to that. And this sounds so weird to so many people, and that's okay. When you're on the phone with someone, take notes. Even if it's just a casual conversation, aside from building relationships, you'll be able to see where you can tweak and improve your conversational flow just looking back at your notes. And even if it's a personal conversation, I mean, maybe they said something that you should check up on. Maybe their grandma's in the hospital or something. You can look back and say, oh, you know what? I should go ask Jesse how his grandma's doing. That's how you build a good relationship. Take notes. So
I love that.
Get that one in there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. I couldn't agree more. It's the small details that make the biggest difference. Actually, as a matter of fact, Carlin, when you look at, does everybody know who? Why am I? What's the book you read a book on their family? Why am I drawing a blank on it now? What's his family name? Rockefellers. Thank you, Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. John D. Rockefeller. Here's something that is really, really great. And by the way, Mr. Mabry is in here. Dude, bro, thank you for being here. Guys, go check out my friend Joseph Mabry. This is his business, Rebels Haven in Alaska. He's a veteran. Him and I joined the Air Force together, dude. Crazy. And now we live, I don't know, just a few miles from each other. Thank you for being here, bro. I love you. Thank you for your service. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. But he says that's a good one. I couldn't agree more. And what was something that was really, really interesting when John Rockefeller died, they were going through his things and they ended up going through his Rolodex and they found everybody that he had a professional relationship with. And here's something that was really interesting that they also found out. In addition to the names, like Carlin just got done saying, he had personal shit from each one of those individuals that he did business with. So if John went and talked to Derek, and Derek had a 4-year-old daughter that had a Christmas dance recital that she was doing, he would take notes of those little things. And the next time that John would talk to Derek, like, hey, Derek, last time we talked, you were telling me about Susie's dance recital. How did that go? How was your guys' Christmas? So being able to recall those little things that's where you solidify relationships. That's where you solidify relationships where you are making a huge impact on people, certainly enough to do tons and tons of business. That is what intentionality is. And it's crazy, guys, because this type of stuff, it's not rocket science, right? It's not rocket science. Staying consistent every day, being intentional with your time, being intentional with your conversations, building out a schedule for your day-to-day, being intentional with building your skills. None of these things are rocket science, but it's the things that the 99% don't do. And it's also the things that the 1% do focus on. Most interesting thing. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Carlin. Those types of things make the biggest difference. Dude, Joe said, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Bro, that book sits next to my Bible, man. That is such a fantastic book. I read it several times a year. It is dude, you go into Target, the blueprint to making millions is on the bookshelf in Target.
Or Walmart.
That's it, dude. That's it. You see any of these successful people? I was watching one from Dan Martell last night, and he's referencing books. And he's like, dude, according to this book, this is what they said to do. I've implemented this into my business. You got these 4 things right here. This is how this breaks down. This means this means that. And this is where you level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, blah, 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 blah. And dude, it's all from books, man. It's all from books. The key to making millions is it's literally on the shelf in Target. But you have a lot of people that will jump on a Zoom or a phone call. I even talked to somebody who jumped. They like, you know how back in the day, like we did those 3-way phone calls. It's like, hey, I'm going to call you, and then you call somebody else. We do those a lot now. But
I was like, wait, don't we still do that though?
We do. It's not as fun as when I was 10 years old. And, we did it from the landline. But I saw somebody even do that with. They were trying to make 50 friends, and they did it on a phone call where he called one person, that person called the other one, that person called the other, and they did it all the way till they got 50 people on the line. I mean, just think about how much time it takes to get 50 people on a phone call. And then when you got 50 people on a phone call, again, we have one, you got 2, maybe 3 people talking at the most, and you got 47 other people just sitting there on mute. And then they get off bragging about it like they just did something productive. It's like, no, stop it. Stop it. I'm going to slap you on the wrist. Don't do that. These little things make the biggest freaking difference. When you add a little bit of intentionality and you have clarity on what it is you're trying to do and how you want to do it, you will start to see yourself grow in ways that you have never fathomed. You will start to see your business grow. You will start to make money that you've always wanted to make. And you will start crushing these limiting beliefs, and you will start having these paradigm shifts. And as somebody who's gone through it and is going through it, myself and Carlin, you can't afford to not be taking the plunge and to be betting on yourself and to taking note of these little things. That's why this podcast exists. So you can get information, you can take gold nuggets walking away from here, so you can come into a podcast. So I don't want you guys writing down, I attended the TGIF podcast on Friday. I don't want you guys to be looking back this on Sunday and adding the 45 minutes or 50 minutes or however long today's episode is down. And then I don't want you walking away having not got anything from it. So these little things right now, I hope you guys are coming here. And thank you guys for coming here. Thank you for being active in the comments. Thank you for coming here every single week. Thank you for being intentional. Carlin and I know that time is the most valuable commodity that we have. We both understand that we're doing this in the middle of the day on a Friday. And that you guys could be doing so many other things right now. But the fact that you guys are here, I want everybody here to know, everybody that's watching this now and everybody that will be watching this, I want you guys to know how much Carlin and I appreciate you, and that we respect the hell out of your time, and any time that you are willing to give to us, we want to make sure that you get enough value to make it worth your time. because we want to see your business continue to do this. So anything that Carlin and I can do to be an asset for you, please let us know. We really appreciate it. Carlin, let's talk about saying no real quick.
Oh, that's my favorite word.
Tell me about that.
It's so liberating. I mean, not when I have to say no to my kids, because that starts a whole fight. But like being able to say no to other things, like distractions, outside things that aren't going to be as productive. That's like freeing, because when you say no, I can't remember what book this is in. When you say no to one thing, you're saying yes to yourself.
Interesting.
And I love that concept. That's actually at the beginning of my journal. I have this at the very front of my journal. I have a ton of quotes that I look at every single day. My favorite one says, "Don't be a bitch."
That's a good quote. I like that one personally.
A true genius told it to me once. But when you say no to something, you're saying yes to yourself. And so ultimately what that means is, if it's not going to benefit you, and that sounds so selfish, but if it's not going to benefit you, do you need to do it? Is that something, are you doing it for you, or are you doing it because you feel guilty if you don't do it? And I know as a witness to myself, hi baby, as a witness to myself, I used to say yes to everything, because my brain would go, "Oh, what goes around comes around. It'll all pay off. It'll all benefit me in the long run." Never came back to me. Never came back. It was just so much energy that I was being taken advantage of. And being able to say no is like, it's like Haley said, it's putting the mask on myself on the airplane. I can't save these two goons if I don't have any oxygen.
I 100% agree. One of the big things that I see, because you brought up earlier when we started talking, you started talking about like the different systems, the different, CRMs, people jump in and they're like, well, do I get batch? Do I get PropStream? Do I need to get both of them? I need to get all these things. Guys, I've been there. I've done that. I've dropped $15,000 over the course of maybe 3 months and lost it all, because that's exactly what I did. So that's why we're here. We're sharing these things with you guys, so you guys don't have to go dump 15 grand into things that are going to be super unproductive for you. But I totally agree with that, Carlin. You have to say no. I love what Haley said. It's like putting the mask on in the airplane. You can't take care of anyone else unless you take care of you first. I think that's so true. And you have to say no. If you want to make $100,000 a month, first and foremost, we've got to crush these limiting beliefs. If there's anybody that's watching this or will end up watching this in the future that is like, man, $100,000 a month, that'd be nice. But Jesse, I'm already busting my ass working 17, 18, 19 hours a day just so I can try to figure out how to replace my income, whether that's $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or whatever it is. I understand. I get it. But here's the thing. Here's something that I have learned. You have to say no to $10,000 a month opportunities so that you can say yes to $100,000 a month opportunities. Now, when I say that, I know how generic and I know how general that sounds. I know some of you probably listening to this are like, yeah, Jesse, I get it. Don't even know what that means though, bro. I get it. I'm going to share that with you.
I think something that stands out to me a lot when I had this mindset shift, my $10,000 a month opportunities were the easiest things I could do. They were easy solutions. My 1,000 or 100.
Give me an example, a specific example. Like somebody pops into your DM. They're like, Carlin, hey, I got this deal I want to talk about.
Dialing for me, it was dialing. I'd be sitting there, dial, dial, dial. I hated talking to sellers. I wasn't good at it. I could spend as much. That was not my thing. That wasn't my thing. To me, it was easy. It was easy work. It wasn't anything I enjoyed, but it made a check that I wanted after, like couple months.
Mm-hmm.
My $100,000 a month stuff, I had to stop doing my $10,000 a month stuff and put my blinders on and do the hard things. That's the trick, like doing the hard things first, making the hardest part of your day your number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the stuff in the day is cakewalk, easy peasy.
Absolutely.
But a lot of us do it backwards, and I know I've done it backwards where I did all of the easy stuff first, and at the end of the day I was like, ugh, I didn't do the hard thing, but I got so much accomplished. I got basically nothing accomplished. But in my head, I did all the things.
Yeah.
So I should have a $10,000 check.
I've been there, man. I have been there. And it's easy to stay on that treadmill, so to speak, or that hamster wheel. I'm thinking that, hey, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. But to go from $10,000 a month, there's a million different things that you could do to make $10,000 a month. Like Carlton said, go hit the phones. Go hit the phones. You'll make 10 grand a month if you're consistent.
If you're consistent.
If you're consistent. You'll also end up as an employee in your own business. But sometimes that's okay. That's what we all have to start somewhere. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a million different things you can do to make $10,000 a month. Maybe you're a lender. Maybe you're a gator. Maybe you're borrowing money from somebody else and you're making money as a connector, connecting somebody else with money and making a fee off of that. Maybe you're wholesaling. There's about a million different things you could do. Maybe you're doing affiliate marketing. There's a million different things you could do to make 10 grand a month. And oftentimes those are the things, guys, that serve as the distraction that keep us from making the money that we want. If you're so caught up in, like Carlton said, like hammering the phones all day, or if you get caught up in, well, I don't know how to underwrite. I don't know how to do this. Guys, I get it. I understand that. And when people jump into your DMs or people tag you on Facebook, or those are all freaking distractions. For the most part. For the most part. You got to get clarity on what it is that you're trying to do. And here's the cool thing about this is that these $10,000 a month opportunities, they're kind of like fog. They all kind of sit right here. There's a million different things you could do to make $10,000 a month. But to go from either 10,000 or even zero, for those of you guys who haven't done a deal yet or not consistently doing deals, to go from here to $100,000 a month is actually freaking easier. And I understand how this sounds to maybe some of you guys, maybe all you guys, I don't know. I understand how that sounds, but let me kind of give you some context. The things that you do to make $10,000 a month, you can't do to make $100,000 a month. So a lot of you guys who are spending 17, 18, 19 hours a day between your W-2 and family stuff and then hitting the phones all day, you're probably like, Jesse, I literally have no more time to designate to make $100,000 a month. I'm just trying to get by to make $5,000 a month. I get it. But you know what? The things that you're working on right now to make $10,000 a month, that's not what's going to get you to $100,000 a month. You have to stop what you are doing. You have to sit back and you have to look at this completely differently. You have to start learning how to set appropriate goals, how to have a very and clearly defined vision for what you want your business to even look like. Then once you have that, your skill set, you need to focus on one thing, not all the things. You should not be trying to figure out how to skip trace properties, how to set up a CRM, how to automate things, how to trigger things, where to skip trace, how to follow up, do all the follow up, send contracts, learn how to negotiate, go find buyers, go find lenders, go find title companies. There's not enough time in the day. Those are all $10,000 a month opportunities, guys. To make $100,000 a month, you have to have a clearly defined goal. You have to be able to communicate that vision or that goal to somebody else. And the great thing about this is if you can't, then you don't know. It's not clear enough for you yet. So if you can't communicate it to somebody else, that's great feedback right there. That just lets you know that we got to go back to the drawing board. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. It's exactly what should happen.
It took me, I'm not even kidding, it took me 8 or 9 tries to get the journal the exact way I wanted it, where I looked at it and was like, yes, this is good. I think I did it 8 or 9 times. I looked at it and was like, it could be better. This could be better. I showed it to a couple people. What do you think needs to be put on? Okay, that could be better. It's the focus, the commitment, the dedication to just focusing on one thing is how you get there. And if you have to say no to yourself, say no to yourself.
Say no to yourself. Say no to others. Respect your time. When people know that you respect yourself and you respect your time, you train people how to treat you. When you got bigger fish that you're frying, when you got bigger things that you are up to, you're respecting yourself. You're respecting your time. You're saying no to other people because you have a clear vision on what it is you're trying to do. And then you're going to bring other people into your business who can complement where you lack or the things that aren't a good use of your time. But everybody wearing all the hats in their business and setting your goals so stinking low is what's keeping you in that hamster wheel. I can testify to that. I've been there. This isn't theoretical stuff that Carlin and I are saying. We're not coming up here and saying, hey, you know what? I read a couple books and theoretically, like, this makes sense. This is what you guys could do. I'm a practitioner of this stuff. This is what I'm doing. I feel like in my real estate business, Chris and I, for having been in this for 3.5 years, to be where we are is insane, I think. So if there's anybody else that I can even help and Carlin can help take that shortcut and get you guys even closer to where you're wanting to be in less time, then let's go. Let's roll. But it starts with understanding the productivity paradox, which, by the way, when you came up with this episode, Carlin, I was like, dude, this is straight out of a Big Bang Theory episode, the productivity paradox. Love it. Dude, tell me you guys don't love that name. I freaking love that name. But anyway, all of this to say, guys, if there's nothing else that you guys take away from this, get super, super intentional with what it is you guys are trying to do. Get really, really clear and document everything. The things that you do every single day. Just document them, and you will start to see how much time you guys are wasting. And this isn't just for you guys. Like, I do the same thing, man. I waste a lot of time. Not as much as I used to, but I can always tighten the belt a little bit.
My final thought, Jesse. Do you know who Marcus Aurelius is?
Yes.
Okay. We've all attempted to read the book Meditation. When he wrote that was his personal journal. This is the way I think about it every single day. Okay. I'm sure John D. Rockefeller, Marcus Aurelius, all the big name people who ended up Tom Cruise, all the people who weren't expecting their personal journals to be published. Okay. That's the way you should think about your journal. If this gets published in 300 years, is the information that gets published going to be beneficial for someone learning from me?
Interesting. That's a really good thought. I love that. Hopefully it's on a Growth Code journal.
It'll be on a Growth Code journal once I figure out how to get them bad boys published. If anyone knows a good publishing company, please let me know.
Love it. Love it. Love it, guys. Well, that's all we have for you guys. We are up on an hour. Carlin and I very much appreciate you guys. Again, thank you thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't tell you enough, and I will tell you guys every day. We are so grateful and humbled that you guys jump in here. You spend some time with us. Thank you for being part of our personal lives and our professional lives. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time today. Hopefully, we made it worth it for you guys. And if there's anything that we can do, please let us know. We have an upcoming mentorship that starts in the new year. So if anybody is needing something to just 10x their business, or at least wants more information on it, please shoot me a DM and let me know where I can help you guys. There's no pressure at all. If you guys simply just want to know more information about it, let me know. Carlin, anything else?
What's Rebels Haven, Alaska? Can you send me a message? Because it seems like you know about the journals, so let's talk. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Dude.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll see you guys later.
Merry Christmas.